Hello. It's been a very long time since I talked to a camera, so it's actually very awkward. I'm not gonna pretend I'm good at this. It's kind of driving me crazy how I woke up with my hair like this and I didn't have time to do anything about it, / too lazy, and it makes me look like a mushroom. So I'm actually again in a new apartment. It's funny because the last video I posted, I remember I started it saying, hello guys, it's been a long time, I'm in a new apartment now. I'm now back in Toulouse in a new apartment actually. Well, I'm yet again in a new apartment. At this rate, it's gonna be at a different apartment every time I post a new video. The last apartment was nice, but after a year and some life changes, it was time for a little upgrade. The thing is, when you're looking for an apartment in the city center, the old city center of Europe, you want that experience of living in a charming old building with the street filled with the same kind of old buildings, right? But a lot of the times the actual apartment inside these buildings are not that great. There are a lot of apartments that are renovated on the inside, but those are going to be super expensive. Like if it's an old building in the city center and the interior is renovated, it's going to be super expensive. So either you take an ugly modern building a bit outside of the city center with modern kitchen, modern everything, or you are in the city center in a nice charming old building, but the apartment inside is dingy. So yeah, the last apartment was actually the best of both worlds in the sense that it was in a super old building. It was like a 16th century or 15th century, and the inside was just recently redone like few months before I moved in there. But of course it comes at a price, and the price was that it was tiny and there was absolutely zero sunlight. I actually lived there with my boyfriend. We rented it together, and it was, I think, the first apartment that we actually rented together before it was just kind of unofficially living together. But he doesn't work from home. He goes to an office every day, so he got to get out. But me, I was just in this apartment most of the days and all day because I work from home. So you can imagine how depressed I got in this tiny dark box of an apartment just with my computer screen lit up like. Anyways, I'm much happier in this new apartment, and I hope that in the next video I'm not gonna be in another one. First, because I hope I don't find major problems at this place, and second, I want to post more than once a year. My New Year resolution for 2023 is actually posting one video per month. I don't know if you guys still do New Year resolutions at this point, talking to the people who are my age. But I mean, I always have stuff I want to improve, you know, about myself or about my life. So I like coming up with goals for the new year and coming up with specific action steps that I can take to achieve them. And one of my 2023 goal is to post one video per month. And you might say that's nothing, because I mean, full-time YouTubers post one video per week. But the thing is, I have a full-time job that requires me to stare at a computer screen all day. So by the time I'm done with work in the evening, the last thing I want to do is continue to look at the computer screen. Sometimes my eyes physically hurt from staring at the screen all day. So when the evening arrives, I just want to go out, you know? So that's kind of the gist of why I haven't been doing videos. But then I also realized I genuinely enjoy making videos. Like I actually have fun filming and editing videos. So I realized that's something I want to keep in my life. It's something I want to keep doing regularly for my own good, for my own enjoyment and a sense of fulfillment. And also because I love watching my videos from 2 years ago. It's pretty entertaining. It's like looking at old pictures of yourself, but even better. I know I'm gonna appreciate it very much in 40, 50 years when I have these videos of my 20s to look at. So I want to have a lot of stuff to look at. So yeah, all that to say, I'm gonna post one video per month in 2023. At least one video. It could be more if I'm super motivated, but at least once a month. And if at any point you guys see me slack, feel free to nag and nudge. Tell me to post my video of the month. So what's up, right? That's the question we all want to know. We, as in my parents and maybe some other people in my family and myself in 30, 40 years. What was up in year 26 of my life? 26 or 27? What was up in 2022? Well, I finished my master, yay. Remember at the beginning of my channel, I moved to France and I started a master program in Toulouse. But anyways, yeah, that's the update after I've had my first day of class. Well, it's been 2 years, can you believe it? In summer 2022, it was finally over. So now I'm working at the same company where I did my end of the studies mandatory internship / apprenticeship as a software developer. And I work from home because the company is in Paris, and although my master is over, which was the only thing that was physically binding me to Toulouse, I decided I like Toulouse after 2 years of living here. Wow. And I really didn't want to move to Paris. I mean, first of all, I wouldn't be able to live in an apartment this big and this nice and this central in Paris for this price. And I mean, there are many reasons, but I think that's a story for another day. 2022 was the first year since I moved to France that I got to actually travel. Partly because it's first year since COVID that travel is kind of back to normal. And also because it's the first year that I actually made money. And this was kind of the whole reason I wanted to move to France in the first place. Like, I'm not obsessed with France. I just wanted to live somewhere in Europe to be able to take cheap trips, to have access to cheap planes and trains to hundreds of beautiful destinations that if I were living in the US or Asia would just be like probably once in a lifetime trip. But yeah, I went on several nice trips this year. I think I'm gonna turn them into short little videos because I did vlog on the trips. I also went to South Korea, which I don't know if you know, but it's crazy because I was born there and then I decided I don't like it, so I left it when I was very, very young. I left it on my own, and then I lived in the US for most of my life, and then recently I moved to France, and since I left, I never visited. So the last time I was in Korea, I was like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14. Long story short, because my family, who also moved to the US after I moved to the US, after 10 years, they decided to move back to Korea. And so now I have no reason to go to the US. My life is here in France, and then my family, I was only going to the US to visit my family, and they moved to South Korea. So I went to South Korea for the first time in 12, 13, in the first time in my adult life, I got to visit my home country. Let me tell you, it was a mind trip, but sadly I didn't vlog it, so that's a bummer. But anyways, it happened. One of the big highlights of 2022 was my trip to South Korea, actually. My boyfriend also came and met my family and got to see where I grew up, where I went to elementary school, my childhood home. So big, exciting stuff. Oh, we also have cats. I don't know if I ever introduced my cats on video. Beep, beep. This is Pip. We've had her for like a year now. We got her when she was a 4-month-old kitten, and she's still a kitten because she's very tiny and she's still very crazy. But one nice thing is she likes to chill on the shoulder like this, like a parrot. And she doesn't mind. She actually likes it. She sometimes asks to go on the shoulder. I guess she enjoys looking at the world from this new perspective and height. But you know, a lot of cats don't like being held, but this one really doesn't mind. This one is Marlowe. I'm not gonna pick him up because he's not a pick-me-up kind of cat. He's more like, leave me alone, and if you get too close, I will run away. He does come up to you though. Like, if you approach him, he doesn't like it, but if you're just sitting on the couch, he will come sit next to you or sit on your lap. He's the second cat we got a few months after we got Pip, because Pip was lonely and needed a friend. And they run around and do crazy shit together and destroy the apartment. Well, now you've met my cats. I have nothing to eat at home right now, so we're gonna go look for food. This is what I default to every time I don't know what to have. I don't do this every day, go out and buy food for lunch. Usually just eat whatever's at home, but there wasn't really anything at home today. Luckily, living in the city gives me the option to just do a quick in and out. I guess it's out and in because I went out and then I came back in. But, you know, quick trip to plenty of food options within just like a 5-minute walk. I guess this is like a get ready with me, except I'm not getting ready. So this is not get ready with me. Eat lunch with me and listen to me talk about my honest opinion on working from home. Can you guys stop? I'm trying to do a video. So the thing about working from home, there are a lot of pros, but there are also some cons. Pro, I can sleep in extra like 2 hours in the morning because the amount of time you spend on your commute, I mean, if you're lucky, it might be like 30 minutes, but I've heard up to 2 hours, which sounds horrible. Well, I get to have that time to myself to either sleep in or actually for the first several months when I started working from home, I did sleep in the morning and just wake up at the very last moment before I absolutely have to start working, which is for me 10 in the morning because I have my first daily morning, like a recap meeting at 10. So I just wake up at like 9:30, roll out of bed and open my laptop. But actually starting this year, I thought to myself, that's actually a blessing that I get to have that time to myself. The hours that other people would spend in a commute, I should actually do something with that time. So starting this year, I started waking up at the same time my boyfriend wakes up, because he has to do like 1 hour of commute. So he would get up 2 hours before I do. I tried to get out of bed at the same time as him. So far I have about 75% success rate. And then I made myself a little schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, work on my monthly videos, and Tuesday, Thursday, study French, because yeah, that's still a thing. So yeah, that's a big pro. Same thing in the evening, like you cut the time you would spend in your commute and you can spend it on whatever personal projects. Another pro is I'm just comfy at home. Like I don't really get dressed. I mean, I get dressed into my comfy clothes, which actually is also kind of a con, because if you get dressed normally, like with outside clothes when you get out of bed first thing in the morning, then you're ready for the day. But if you put on your comfy clothes when you get out of bed and you stay in your comfy clothes till like noon, then by the time the afternoon comes around, it's really hard to have the motivation to get dressed, like make yourself look presentable enough to go out in public and actually, well, at least I find it very hard to get myself ready to go outside, and then I end up just staying inside all day most days. So maybe a simple solution for that would be to just put on proper clothes when you wake up. But if I'm staying home all day, why would I want to put on jeans or any variety of uncomfortable pants, right? When the weather is nice, I try to force myself to go out at least once a day, just to take, even if it's pointless, just to take a walk around the block or something. But lately, it's January. It's been raining every single day for like as long as I can remember. And so obviously if I'm in my comfy clothes on my couch and it's super cold outside and raining, I can't get myself motivated to step outside. So then I just end up staying home all day. But then by the time the afternoon arrives, it gets dark already around 5 p.m. So then I complain about not having gone outside while there was still daylight. So yeah, there's a lot of just being by yourself time. And another obvious con is you're more motivated to work when you're surrounded by other people who are also working. I do have to sometimes go to Paris to go on site to the office once every few months, and when I do, I'm just so much more productive and I feel good about the work I do. You know, like I'd be watching all these people busily walking around with purpose and taking calls and dressed nicely, and when you're surrounded by that, it makes you feel kind of important. But when I'm working from home and just lounging on the couch, I don't feel important. I feel like a piece of shit. Eating lunch by myself, I don't know whether to put that in the cons or the pros, because I actually like eating by myself. Like whenever I'm at the office, we're expected to all eat together, and I don't know, they're colleagues, they're not friends, we're just making small talk. I don't know, for me, unless it's people that I absolutely love and appreciate the heck out of and just really enjoy their company, vibe match level through the roof, unless it's with people like that, I don't like eating with people. Is that weird? Like the stress of having to do at least a minimum socializing while eating takes away from my experience of actually enjoying the food, if that makes sense. So yeah, all that to say, I like eating by myself, and that's not a problem for me that I eat lunch by myself every single day in front of a nice show or something. In any case, it is a very lonely experience every day if you're working from home. I sometimes meet up with friends who are also working from home, but like really rarely, because like I said, I'm too lazy after having spent all day in comfy clothes. I don't know, it's a weird conflict between feeling lonely and wanting to socialize, and also being too lazy because you're just so used to being comfortable working at home. So far, I haven't taken full advantage of the biggest pro of working from home, which is that you can work from anywhere. I don't have to be at my apartment. I don't have to be in Toulouse. I could go to another city and work from like an Airbnb, but then on one side, I'm paying rent here and it's not super cheap. So to pay in addition to go have another accommodation somewhere else, it's like, and then there's that option of being a complete digital nomad and just not having a home, not paying rent anywhere, but just going in a different city every few months. But I don't know, either I'm not quite there yet, or I've already been there, done that when I was backpacking. And I enjoyed that homeless aspect for up to 6 months. But after that, I missed being at home. And I love being at home. I love this apartment. I like having this home base. The most I would do for that work from anywhere
thing, I guess, would be up to a week, like go to another city for a week and then come back, because any more than that it gets expensive. It would be cool to have a community, or maybe community is too big of a word, but like a group of people, small group of people who all do remote work, and we can all pick a city and take an Airbnb together and split the cost so it's not too expensive. And we do that regularly, you know, like 1 week here and another week here. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who are already doing that, and I just don't know where to find them. If you're doing this, please invite me, because I get tired of just being in my apartment all day by myself. So yeah, I appreciate very much my being able to work at home, but at the same time I complain a lot and I'm often sad about it. I think it's because it's the winter, you know, the weather is always shitty. But yeah, that's how January's been going.